What's going on, guys? This is the deck profile. BELO BETTY. That's what we got going on today. I'll show you my list and we'll get into it. For those of you that don't know, activate main once per turn. Trash a Rev Army card from your hand. Up to 3 of your Rev Army characters or characters with trigger get 3,000 power for the turn. So just a side note, we are playing 50 Rev Army cards, so you're never going to have a dead card to this. But just getting into the profile, I can run you through my list and then we can talk a little bit about it after. First things first, you're going to run 4 of these Searcher Bettys. You're basically mulliganing for this. You want to see ideally 1 to 2 of these in your opening hand because you're going to be going second. So if you can slap down 2 of these, it feels pretty good. Just look at the top 5, grab a Rev Army, throw the rest away. Next we have a controversial card. I have a bit of a love-hate with it. We're playing 4 Raise Max. No counter. If this card had counter, I wouldn't dislike it as much, but you're also kind of looking to see this in your opening hand. You're looking to either see 1 to 2 of these or 1 in 1 or just 1. If you only have a Raise Max, it's okay as a turn 1 play, but it's not the best. But basically, he's an activate main. Bottom deck him. Give something 3,000 power. So basically what you want to use him for is leader ability, bump him up to 5, get a free swing with a 5, bottom deck him, and minus something that you'll clear up. Next card, one of my favorite cards in the deck because it's a 2K and we don't have a lot of those, but it's the koala here. This is the OPO5 alternate art. On play, the leader has a Rev Army, give up to your one opponent's characters minus 3,000 power. So being an on play, it's not fantastic into Blackbeard, but if they don't leader ability, it's fine. You can use this plus this and basically get rid of anything. We also are playing 4 of, which I had cut before, but I'm playing them now, 4 Kuma. Originally, I had this card out. I didn't love it. It wasn't, performing as I liked. But in this meta, OPO9, like I was playing this in 8.5, so this was something I was debating getting rid of or not. And I actually really like it because on play, KO, yeah, it's an on play, another Blackbeard thing, but Blackbeard's not as prevalent as I thought originally. And so this thing just being able to, raise max, play this out, you can even hit this off trigger, kill one of their little guys with any combination of this. But these 3 cards kind of go in tandem. These and this can get rid of any 5K. And then the guy we're playing next, 4 of Lindbergh. When attacking, if it has 7,000 power or more, KO something with 3,000 power. So you basically can clear any 6K with 1 or 9K with 2. So you can clear like dragons, you can clear the Zoro, you can clear anything. If you have the combination of these 3, if this is already established on board, or even better, you hit this off trigger, you can go, bottom deck raise max, play out koala, leader ability, swing with this, and you can literally clear just about whatever you want, which is fantastic for the deck. So that's why I'm not playing a single Morley. I think Morley is not good. I think it's one of those win more cards. If you're in a situation where your opponent has 0 life or 1 life, yes, Morley can close out games. But if they know that, the Morley's already on board, they're going to play around it. They're going to keep counter in hand. They're going to do, some shenanigans to not let you resolve that. Next, kind of the quote-unquote heart and soul of the deck. This is basically your Jinbei. Activate main once per turn. If it has 7,000 power or more, play 1 Rev Army with 5,000 power or less. So you're basically playing this out and playing whatever you want. There's only, I think, 2 cards in the deck this can't cheat out. Sorry, 3 cards in the deck this can't cheat out. But the ones that it can't cheat out, you're playing less than 4 of. So, it works out. You kind of want to see any combination of this and a Karasu or even the Lindberghs, other things. If, it's bad enough, you can play a Searcher and look. You can play, like, a Kuma if you just want to clear off, like, a Perona or some small thing. But next, my favorite card and what I would say is the best card in the deck, Karasu. A lot of people would disagree with me saying this is the best card in the deck, but on play, give something minus 1,000 power for the entire turn. So you're basically always doing this to a leader, and they basically have a 4K leader, and everything's getting buffed. So they have to have an additional card for each swing for this Karasu, and each one attacking minus 1,000 power for the turn. So if they don't clear it, like if they don't KO it, You're on play, you're getting a bunch of swings at a 4,000 leader, and then following turn, you're just buffing this, swinging again, and getting a second turn with the minus 1,000 liters. So if you can resolve this 2 turns in a row, the on play and when attacking, you're probably winning the game. There isn't really any way around that. Next card, ignore the fact that I can't find any more full arts. It is the 5 cost Ivankov. People are saying cut this down, you don't need 4. But I don't agree. I mean, it is no counter. So there's only 2 cards so far with no counter. So you have kind of 8 no counter cards. At worst, I mean, you can just pitch this card for leader ability if you don't need it, if you have something better in hand. But having a big body that you can play out anything off the top 3, especially if they don't think about it and they don't Blackbeard ability, you can, play this out and basically play anything else minus 1 or 2 cards. 5,000 power or less. So there's 2 things that you can't play out with this. But it's disgusting if you can go like this, into boost with leader, into this. You're better than Dofi as far as board swarming at that point. When you hit these cute little combos. The next card, another 4 of that I think you just absolutely need to play. It's basically a 3 cost 7k rusher. If you're playing properly with this, you're holding it, you're either spending the 3 Dawn or cheating it out, and then you're boosting it with leader ability, so it gets +3. So it's basically 3 cost 7k rusher. It's to close out games. It's also kind of cheeky if they have no cards in hand and you have a Karasu that's resolved, so their leader's 4,000. It's just a 3 cost extra swing that they either would have to block, or if they have low enough life, you can just win the game because of that with a 4k swing, which is kind of funny. You could make the argument to play 3. I'm playing 4. It's counter. These also work off each other. So if for 6 Dawn, you can play 2 out, leader ability, boost them both to 7. So for 6 Dawn, you're getting 2 7k swings, which can be great as well. And the last of my red cards is the only card I'm not playing at 4 of in the deck. It's the 2 Dragon. Kind of self-explanatory. It is no counter. The reason I'm playing 2 is because you can search it with multiple things. So it's not necessarily something you need, but it is also the most expensive character to play out, being 8 Dawn. Want to be winning the game at that point. So by having to rely on this to win, it doesn't feel great, but it is just a game closer. Come 8 Dawn turn, you're dropping this, attaching 2 to leader ability, making this a 12, so you're swinging 12-7, plus whatever else you have from turns beforehand. But he is also a Rev Army, so at worst, if you brick on him, you see 2, whatever, you just pitch for leader ability. And yeah, that's it for all the red cards. 38 red cards. I think we're only playing 12 yellow. This you can make an argument to cut down. I disagree. We're playing 4 of the brand new koalas. This card's absolutely insane. Playing 3, maybe you can make the argument, but you almost always want to see this card on your 6 Dawn turn. This is your 3rd turn play. Essentially what you're doing is you're going second, so you're 2 Dawn, 4 Dawn, 6 Dawn. This you want to see by your 3rd turn. Reason being, at first I thought taking a life was terrible, but this is a blocker, and it only is terrible in matchups where they can remove this without swinging, because it's a blocker. So it's basically replacing the life you take. You're playing this out, taking top life, playing anything you want, then drawing a card. So you're basically getting 1 card, 2 cards, and playing something out of your hand for free, like a Ivankov that can then cheat something else out. So this can really well build your board. You also can play the card you add off life. So if you don't have a fantastic target for this, you might get lucky, pull 1 off life, boom, there you go. A blocker, it's also a 6k, so with leader ability boost, it's a 9. So you're basically, closing games out with it as well. It is no counter, which is a shame, but it is a very busted card, and I think seeing it is most important. Plus, into certain yellow matchups where they're playing the Yamato or the cards that KO stuff based on life, you can just use this to kind of turbo your life down to 1 or 2, and then most of your stuff's safe. So yeah, I would absolutely play 4. Following up, I'm playing 4 of the brand new Karasu. Funny card. It's won me a lot of games. The trigger is if your leader's Rev Army, and you and your opponent have a total of 5 life or less, you just play it out for free. So there's been times where it's my last life or my second last life, and I hit it, play it out, they swing for game. This just saves me from the last hit. They have to pass, and then I just win on the clapback. But this card's broken. You can kind of cheat it out too with Ivankov or other things if need be. It's just a blocker plus a 7k swing if needed. And it kind of works as like a pseudo blocker. If you have enough life, you can play this out, boost it up to 7, swing if you don't need to block with it, and then swing. And then because it's rested next turn, they're going to try and run it over because they're not going to be able to go for game. So it's kind of a pseudo blocker at that point too. And the last card we were playing, the other 2k, the brand new Kuma. Honestly, you're kind of never using its trigger. It's mainly just here for a 2k. It can come up. I've very, very rarely actually played this card out. You can, like, it's the same trigger as the Karasu, and it's a 5k, so it's a bigger guy. But it's not a blocker. It has no effect. It's just here for the 2k. And most of the time I find too, if I'm taking this off life and I have the ability to play it out, I'm usually keeping a 2k to just get out of the next swing rather than play the body. Because at that point I usually have enough stuff on board anyways. But that's it for the yellow package and the deck in general. I'll have a list that I'll put either up on screen or the description just to, have everything together closely. But yeah, I played in the booster box online Treasure Cup. I ended up going 7-3, top 128. It was honestly very good. I have my matchups as well that I can throw up on screen just for you guys to look at. But overall, I started out 5-0 out the gate. Was playing Shanks, Blackbeard, Ploofy, a bunch of the meta stuff, and this thing was having no problems at all. I won't lie, I was drawing pretty well and seeing things that I just needed to see. But there was one card I wanted to talk about, and I will post whose video it was. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. But the guy who just went, I think it was top 64 at Nats with this card. It's the Rev Army. It's the HQ, sorry. The Rev Army HQ. I'm very unsure about this card. I did want to talk about it quickly because I did see that he was playing 3, and I mean, obviously top Nats, so that's pretty insane. Basically what it is you trash a card from your hand, rest this stage, and then look at the top 3 cards of your deck, grab 1 Rev Army, and put the rest at the bottom. So it's a cycler for your deck. My only issue with this is if it was a search then trash instead of a trash then search, because sometimes you don't know what you're going to see, right? It's top 3, and you could whiff and get, 3 Kumas or off the top or something, You are never going neg with this card. You're never going minus, which is fine. But I think it's just... my problem is it adds consistency, but it adds RNG in your consistency. Right now I'm playing 4 of everything and 2 dragon. So mathematically, my consistency is better than playing this card. But this card can sack in the sense that if you're missing 1 or 2 pieces, this card can just grab you those 2 pieces. And help you close out games. I'm going to play around with it. I'm going to test it and see how I like it. I do need to find a 3rd copy, or I'll play 2, it depends. But from my list, what I would cut, I'd probably cut down 1 Koala, the 6 cost, and maybe a Raise Max, or maybe a 5 cost Ivankov, and play this instead. But I didn't want to go over it because it is a very interesting card. I wouldn't play a single event. I wouldn't touch any of them. None of them are any good. You're never leaving Dawn up in this deck. It's a very Dawn efficient deck. So if you're leaving Dawn up to try and play events or use the events for their triggers, I just wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, guys, that's my BELO BETTY list. Hope you guys enjoy, and I think that this is definitely a deck to keep on your radar. Thanks, guys. Let me know what you think. I'll leave any description stuff, links, all that stuff down below. But yeah, guys, take it easy and keep grinding.